3 NHL games today. We're going to tell you exactly how to bet each and every one of them. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching the Blue Line Hockey Betting Podcast with myself and Matthew Barnaby. Today we got Andrew McInnis joining us at the end of the show to give out some winning prop bet information. No Matthew again today, 3 days in a row. Super not doing well. Has a migraine that won't go away. Has a cut in his mouth that has given him a lot of pain. My beautiful woman is here with my coffee. Look at the timing. Matt's getting on the mend. I spoke to him earlier. He is getting better. He will be back tomorrow, hopefully, but nothing we can do about it. When a man is sick, he is sick. With that said, I am sick and tired of being a Leaf fan. Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. Anyway, let's get into some actionable betting information. Florida tonight, they're playing Tampa Bay. This is a game I like, guys. I like Tampa Bay a lot here. I'll tell you that right off the bat. There's money coming in on Florida. Tampa Bay was minus 115 late last night. They're now minus 110. Slight move. And I understand it. Florida's up 3-1 in the series. They've dominated the Tampa Bay team over the last few years in playoff hockey. With that said, Aaron Ekblad is not playing tonight. He got a 2-game suspension, rightfully so. And I think that is a huge deal for 2 reasons. The first reason is they never played great without Aaron Ekblad at the end of the season. He is an absolute horse, probably the most important person on their team outside of Bobrovsky. He plays close to 30 minutes a game. He is big, bruising player. He can clear out the front of the net. He's impossible to get around one-on-one, and he's an offensive machine. This is a giant, massive loss for Florida and will hurt them a lot. But there's a second reason, and that is I think it galvanizes Tampa Bay. I think that hit was so dirty and was so freaking horrible against Hagel, who is now out. I think it brings that Tampa Bay team together. I think we get Tampa Bay's best effort. On top of all of that, it's a must-win hockey game for Tampa Bay, and it is at home. Take Tampa Bay minus 110 against Florida. Now we turn our attention to Montreal going into Washington. Now we saw what Ottawa did. I love coffee. We saw what Ottawa did against Toronto. They came in the exact same spot, down 3-1, got the job done. And we saw what New Jersey did, really brain cramps away from winning that game as well. Went up 3-0 and then just let Carolina get back in there, and Carolina won the game. The question here is, can Montreal do the same? I don't know. I'm worried about this Montreal team, but I think at plus 165, it's worth a flyer. I don't love this game. I would lean on Montreal here because they're getting so much money, and they really have kept. They've been in every single game. I lean on the under slightly. I know the last 2 games went over 5-2 and 6-3, but shots on goal in the last game, 24 for Washington, 18 for Montreal. Both leans the under and Montreal. Now we turn our attention to the Blues playing Winnipeg. And I'll tell you right now, I really, really like Winnipeg in regulation here. I understand that this Blues team is maybe the hottest team in the last 3 months, and they also got it done 2 games in a row. They just beat Winnipeg 5-1, and the game before that 7-2. They were drummings. It was a horrible performance for Winnipeg, and that is why I like them here. I think if Winnipeg lost both those games in overtime, I wouldn't be as big on Winnipeg as I am now, but they're getting Velarde back. Connor is going to stand on his head tonight. This is a statement hockey game for him. And I think we see Winnipeg completely turn their game around. In regulation, they're around minus 115. I think there's a ton of value there. I also think Winnipeg wins the series. So take Winnipeg in regulation, minus 115 to get the job done. Andrew McInnis joining us. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, hit that like button. Please subscribe to our channel And Andrew, yeah, dude, it's a bummer that Matthew can't do these shows this week. He is really having a rough week, and I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, that's too bad. I hope he gets better soon. Nobody wants to be sick, especially this time of year. And I think these are the times where we want to hear his opinions as well. I mean, when the series are, it's great to give opinions early on in a series, but when the series is reaching game 5, 6, that's where you really want to hear from his perspective.
Yeah, well, we'll get him back hopefully tomorrow. Just been one of those weeks. Plus, he's confirmed for next year, so we're gonna be doing this show a lot moving forward. Man, Andrew, let's talk about the Leafs last night. I'm a Leaf fan. You're not. Would you be worried if you were me?
Well, based on the past, of course, people are getting these worries. But at the end of the day, Prez, look, I was saying to my buddies that are Leafs fans, like, hey, look, the series had 3 straight 1-goal games that went to overtime. But you know what the positive point is, Prez? Your Leafs won 2 out of 3 of those. So going into yesterday, they were leading 3-1. There's still 2 more games in this series, and they're up 3-2 in the series. So I think that the sky is falling on social media because of the past right now. But if you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, they still are going to make this Senators team have to win 4 straight games, which is going to be very, very difficult to do. So I actually think, and it's sad it's come to this, but I actually think that game 6 decides the series from where I'm standing. I'm not sure if you're with me on that one, but I think that going on the road, look, I make my jokes about Scotiabank Arena during the regular season. I promise you, and you were there in person, it sounded awesome on TV. The place looked rocking. But yesterday, after the second period, you could hear a pin drop. I think it's almost better for them to be the enemy. If I was you, I'd feel pretty good going into Ottawa and be the enemy and be the road team, be the visitors. There's almost less pressure on them, I find, to close it out on the road than there really was to close it out at home.
Yeah, and with that said, Andrew, I think their 2 best games were in Ottawa. So, game 1, I know the score reflected a great game for the Leafs, but the puck possession, all the analytics behind the score did not. Their best game of the whole series was game 4, which they lost in overtime.
Yes.
So
having said that, though, I'm usually a big depth guy. When it comes down to it, Prez, this is all about the all-stars, because people talk about the scoring and the history between all these players from games 1 to 4 and how different they play in games 5 to 7. So as much as I'm a big depth guy and bottom 6 guy, forget about the bottom 6. It's got to be Matthews. It's got to be Marner. Tavares.
Something's wrong. Something is very wrong with Austin. Something is very, like, when it's all over, we'll find out what it is, but Austin's a shell of himself. Andrew, the same situation in Toronto to a degree exists in LA. This Kings team, they really have let the series go. They had game 3, and the coach made one of the most horrible mistakes I've ever seen in game 3. They had game 4. They did not have game 5, and Edmonton now has put their foot on their throat. Edmonton dominated game 5 as much as they dominated overtime in game 4. This LA Kings team, there's ghosts. There's ghosts in the eyes of all the boys who've been around. Do you know that song?
I don't.
Of course you don't. Let's get into so that's my thoughts on the Kings. I think they're done. Want to add anything or want to get into
look, my 2 cents, you know the team that I picked to win the series, and I'm obviously not happy about it right now, but as you talked about, people forget that these guys, even though they're professional athletes, they're still humans, and the fact is like you said, going up 2-0 like the Kings did and then playing the way they have over the past few games, the belief in that locker room and the mentality, it's definitely switched. It's definitely moved. And so when you come down to the fact that, hey, maybe people are saying it's hard to beat a team 4 straight years in a row in the playoffs. Maybe the LA Kings would have loved to play anybody else but the Oilers. That's where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, shame for the LA Kings, a really well-built team too. Andrew McInnis joining me on the Blue Light Hockey Betting Podcast. Andrew, what are your prop bets for tonight's card?
There's a lot of different ways that we can go here, Prez, with this. The first one, I haven't been taking a lot of unders with player props. I think it's important to mention those as well. Some defensemen have been scoring for the Washington Capitals, but this guy, John Carlson's actually been out there a lot against the Suzuki and Caulfield line, which has made him have to just stay at home, play defense, and not be able to jump up into the rush very often. So 5 straight games without a point against the Montreal Canadiens. Under a half a point is minus 130 for John Carlson. This one's kind of interesting. I'm getting a little bit unique here with this one, but this is going to be a same game parlay. We're going to take both guys over 1.5 shots on goal. Dylan Strome, in 11 of his last 13 games, he's gone over 1.5 shots on goal. Slavkovsky, in 6 of his last 7 games, he's gone over 1.5 shots on goal. You put those two together, you get a plus 116 price tag. I like that one quite a bit in that game in particular. 2 goal scorers I'm going to take a look at to try and find some really nice plus money here. As much as I hate to say it, Tom Wilson plus 210. He's been kind of the factor for the Washington Capitals in that series. And as far as the Montreal Canadiens are concerned, Alex Newhook plus 475. That second line needs to drive the team for the Montreal Canadiens. I feel like they'll have a chance at doing that. For the Winnipeg Jets, obviously they find themselves in a spot where they need to be looking a lot more comfortable at home than they were when they're on the road. And I think Kyle Connor plays his best at home. Sometimes you don't want to take the big numbers because you're worried about, well, how many shots can this one guy get? How many shots can this one line get? Kyle Connor is a pure shooter. He could get 2 or 3 shots on one power play alone. I'm going to take Kyle Connor over 3.5 shots on goal at plus 145. I like that one quite a bit. I think Kyle Connor is going to be an absolute shooter tonight. He knows what the team relies on for him, and they're getting players back, which will help spread out the attention on other players, and that should help them out quite a bit. The last one I like, and a lot of times right now, it's shot props for me. We're going to go with that Braden Point over 2.5 shots on goal. His one is plus 120. I love getting all these plus prices, Prez. It just really helps you out, and that's why I made that small same game parlay. You get the same game, you get the plus odds, and you don't have to hit at as much of a percentage as you would if you're playing too many of these minus 140s and 50s. And when I look at kind of Braden Point, he's a center on this team. They need him to be productive, not just in the defensive zone, in the offensive zone. Kucherov needs help right now. No Brandon Hagel on this team. Jake Gensel, he's done his job. He's had a pretty good series. They need Braden Point to turn into a scorer and not just a passer. Going to take him over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 120.
There we go. Andrew McInnis, outstanding segment. Guys, we're hoping Matt is going to be good to go for tomorrow's show. Same with the live show at 1 p.m. Eastern on Friday. We'll keep you posted. Andrew, thanks for doing this. You guys can find Andrew on Puck Time. That show is live. Him and Carmine do it every day, 11 a.m. Eastern over at WagerTalk TV. Thanks for watching The Blue Line, everybody. We'll do this again tomorrow. Hope you win big. And, of course, don't bet like an idiot. Thanks, everyone.